My name's Erin Cassidy. I graduated in 2001.
My name is Chris Haley, and I also graduated in 2001.
Since graduating from Cooper, graduated from Smith College, went on to get a master's in nursing from the University of Sydney, lived in Australia for a few years, and returned back to Houston in 2012 to start working in my career in healthcare. I have an MBA as well from Rice University, and been in the healthcare field my entire career.
Since I graduated from Cooper, I went to TCU up in Fort Worth. Then I graduated and I went overseas, worked in Iraq for the US government as a contractor for about 4 years. Came home, got my master's in finance from the University of Houston, and tried to work in oil and gas, and ended up actually finding a different path that I've much happier in, commercial real estate. And then after 6 or 7 years working at a boutique firm, started my own commercial realty company.
There are so many great memories from my time at Cooper, but I'll tell you the ones that stick out for me the most are those really visceral feelings of just feeling at home and hearing stories in the Kiva, because we used to have story time in the Kiva, and you would hear just the rain coming down on like a rain day, and we would all just be able to relax and lay there together and listen to these stories. And we were reminiscing too about listening to Miss Hickey tell her stories in 5th grade. It was magical. It really was. I mean, there's a reason why that is a gala item, because it really is worth it. You can't put a price on those memories. For me, I cherish them.
Miss Hickey was wonderful. That was an interesting thing, because she'd be the first one to be like, okay, gather around. Now we're gonna all sit here and just listen. And she would tell full form, 8, 12-hour stories across, months. And whenever we would have these rain days or that time, and then she would just pick it up. It was like oral traditions being passed down. Mr. Deegan was our English teacher in 5th grade, and he was a madman in the best possible way. But he was a creative writer, and he was one of the first people to really explain the English language can be whatever you want it to be, and stretch yourself and try to figure out, if you're going to be creative, be wildly creative. As a 5th grader, we'd sit us all down and explain really difficult concepts of purgatory or being stuck in a place, how everything else could move and you can be here. And as a 5th grader, just being like, I have no idea. I have no idea what you're saying, but it was interesting in a way that was it was a whole new world, and an adult was taking the time to force you to do something creative and interesting.
And I still decline sentences in my head today because of him. Who knew? I mean, I didn't even know.
Yeah, I still break everything out.
Yep.
And do the full structure.
Verb and the...
Yes. Mm-hmm. Try to explain to people why their sentences don't work grammatically. Mm-hmm. Cooper prepared me by giving me a tremendous amount of challenge and pressure at a young age. So then thereafter, it really wasn't that hard. It's joking, it's a bit tongue-in-cheek, but I would say my Cooper degree was actually the hardest degree that I ever earned. More so even than my master's classes, more so than even some of the more difficult things I've had to face professionally. Every day at Cooper was a challenge, because there was a bunch of smart people that were there doing the same things you were doing, and sometimes doing them noticeably better. And then you just had to, suck it up and figure out a way to do it better yourself.
The teacher that ended up having one of the more profound impacts on my life and my decision to choose the college that I went to was actually Mr. Cushing. He was my Latin teacher, and I was trying to decide where to go. And it was between one school that was kind of close to home, and it was kind of an easier decision, and then the other school was on the East Coast. It was cold and very different than what I was used to. I really couldn't decide what to do, and he told me, go where you don't think you're gonna fit in, because that is where you will grow the most as a person. And that was profoundly true. That could not have been better advice. I am so grateful that I got this amazing experience on the East Coast. I became such a better person for just being exposed to difference. And I wouldn't have done that if Mr. Cushing hadn't planted that in, and it's something that I say in my life to this day. So how did I find out that you did this?
Commercial real estate?
Yeah, when did that happen?
I think it was the Cooper Alumni event, and we were chatting. I do commercial real estate. You know, we're a full-service commercial real estate company. We can help in anything from investing to developing and building to buying a building to leasing. And so he was giving you the standard elevator pitch of we could do a bit of anything, really. And then you were saying that you were interested in trying to get some growth.
I needed a hospital in Dallas for kids.
For kids?
And Chris made it happen. Well, what about the garden? Did you enjoy it? I mean, Mrs. Rohr's garden that we would keep in science in lower school.
Yeah.
I know but that garden was a lot of fun, and it was kind of a cool break too from the day. We'd have to take care of our little tomato plants, and because there's still the garden.
So the storage shed in that garden.
Yes.
Was actually our kindergarten playhouse. So before they turned it into the storage shed, a bunch of the dads got together and built it, and that was like the playground. I guess it was the house, the castle, you know, whatever, you know, for when we were little kids.
And we did our handprints. I love being connected to my friends, but then also the community, and being on the alumni board, being able to watch the school just continue to raise the bar in itself as if it's possible for it to have just continued to get better. It blows my mind.
Cooper always talks about from curiosity to wisdom. Everything started in a very simple place, and then it just kind of built as the years went on. Cooper, they teach you to read so that you can write, and then once you can write, you can think. And once you can think, you can do most anything. And I would say that the hard-won lessons of Cooper and throughout everything that they do is they make you read, they make you write, and they make you think. There's a lot of discomfort in parts of that, but it makes you grow.